'cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Shoes on, get up in the morning, cup of milk, let's rock and roll. Kink out, kick the drum, rolling on like a rolling stone. Sing song when I'm walking home, jump up to the top of LeBron. Ding dong, call me on my phone, nice tea.
This is me. I'm Christiana, and this is my story of how art therapy changed my life. My sophomore year in high school seemed to be going so well. I had new friends and a boyfriend. But I became depressed. The summer between my sophomore and junior years, things started turning really bad. I thought I was depressed because my boyfriend broke up with me, but it took me years to realize my boyfriend broke up with me because I was depressed. At the same time, my friends were making bad decisions and I worried about them. Finally, I ended up at the ER at Children's Hospital, Colorado, and then I started seeing a psychiatrist. But I couldn't be honest with him. So he suggested I start creative arts therapy since I love to do art. I don't remember how it was when I first started working with my art therapist, Catherine, except I didn't talk with her much. But we always did art together and it felt more natural than talking with someone. Eventually, I opened up to her as I began to trust her. Going to therapy with Catherine was like hanging out with a friend while doing art, a friend who actually seemed to care. It made me feel better because I could tell her things I couldn't tell anyone else. When I started art with Catherine, I was pretty young and didn't use a particular art medium, so she offered me different ways to express myself. Nothing was off limits with her. It was okay to show my anger. She taught me ways to use my art to express that anger so I could try to move on from it. Like the time I explained to her about the massive pressure in my mind. She suggested we try to make the physical form of it out of clay. So we did. Then I stabbed it with a tool. It helped me visualize my issues and take out my frustration physically. We had a lot of fun together. One day on the way home from therapy, my mom and I stopped at a shoe store where we found a pair of white canvas shoes. I tried creating art on them to see how it looked. After that, my shoe art helped keep me sane. I started drawing with Sharpies on everything. I've embellished about 70 pairs since then, for family, friends, acquaintances, and myself. All that practice helped me improve those techniques and helped me feel more empowered with my art. To this day, I still embellish shoes. I don't know when I started feeling better, but it took a while in conjunction with other things like medication. Gradually, every day became less and less of a hardship. We must take care of our emotional health every day, and it's not always easy. Not every day is happy because life is full of ups and downs, but I know that when I'm doing what I love, losing myself in art without worrying about anyone else, things will be okay.
Hey, feeling good.
In a lot of ways, the arts are perfect for dealing with adolescence because the whole adolescent's life is a drama. It's an art piece.
So to start off, can you tell me what art therapy means to you?
I think the best way I can describe it, Priscilla, for 22 years I worked in a private psychiatric hospital, primarily working with children and adolescents who'd been physically or sexually abused. And with little kids, they didn't have a vocabulary to explain what had happened to them. They just knew they felt bad. And the adolescents, frankly, were so angry or pissed off that they didn't want to talk about it with an adult. But in both instances, they had feelings inside that were mucking up their behavior at school, making family life miserable, and just generally running roughshod over their lives. So the work was all about how to take this feeling that's inside, get it out in a visible form, and then have the therapeutic benefit to somebody else in the world getting it, being able to understand what had been communicated visually. Because the most psychologically damaging thing for a person in the world is to feel like they're the only person who's ever felt this way. So art therapy, well, at least the way I've practiced it, art therapy, it really is all about how to give voice to things that may be unspeakable for one reason or another.
What are differences that you keep in mind when working with adolescents as opposed to an older client base?
For me, the thing that has been that I find really lovely and challenging about working with adolescents is their resistance. I've almost never had them come into the studio and be thrilled to be there. I mean, they're
How do they get matched up with an art therapist?
It depends on the facility. I mean, again, I worked in a private psychiatric hospital, and then most recently I did work with a place that was a treatment facility for adolescent boys who'd committed a sexual offense of some kind. And as you might guess, 90% of them were the victims of abuse themselves, and they acted out in a way that they knew. But in both cases, it's like the notion that there's something wrong with them is sort of an anathema to adolescents. They really don't like that idea. So they're angry about their life circumstances, and they're angry that somebody's told them they have to get some help. And there's something to me there's a beauty in that anger that I just respond to. And then the work is all, again, how to help them take the feeling that's in here, honor it, believe that it has a reason to be there. It's not because they're a bad kid, that they have reasons why they feel the way they do.
So let's go. 'Cause I'm in the stars tonight. So watch me bring the fire, set the night light. Hey, shining through the city with the little funky sound.
Hi everyone, this is Erica. Today I wanted to share with you an art therapy activity to help you feel more light and free. So the past couple months I've been letting go of a lot, and some of it have been material possessions, some of it have been old beliefs about myself, and I realize the more simplified I get in my life and the more I let go, the more free I feel. And I think it's important to check in with yourself to see what you're actually carrying with you. I think we all carry this invisible backpack with us in life when we put things in it, or maybe other people put expectations in it, and we don't stop and think, wait, why is it so heavy? How can I lighten this load? And so this exercise is to help you dig deeper and ask yourself what you're carrying, and a way for you to transform that and to make you feel lighter and more free. So you're gonna need really simple supplies. You're going to need 2 pieces of paper and any sort of drawing materials. So it could be paints, felt markers, pencil crayons, whatever that you have on hand.
On that piece of paper, you're going to write down all the things that weigh you down. It could be an old way of thinking, habits, a relationship, past experiences, or maybe even someone else's expectations. You're going to fill that page with all of your heavy thoughts, and I don't want you to hold back on yourself. Remember, this is the opportunity to lighten your load. Once you're finished, take that piece of paper and scrunch it up. Put all your tension into that ball of paper and then rip it up into little pieces. Take your time to feel the lightness of the paper and play around with it. Now take your second piece of paper and tune into the energy of a bird. There is nothing that represents freedom more so than a bird, so start to draw any kind of bird and don't worry so much about what it looks like, just focus on the wingspan. Then piece by piece, start to collage your ripped pieces of paper onto the bird and imagine they're like little feathers. Remember that this paper contains all of your weighted thoughts, so build your bird slowly and with intention, and imagine what it would feel like not to carry those thoughts anymore. This is you acknowledging the past and letting it all go. Decorate and add to your bird in any way that represents freedom to you. Choose colors and imagery that make you feel free, at ease, and at peace with your life.
So this was my piece. The process was so therapeutic for me and so relaxing, and it gave me an opportunity to tune in and to ask myself why I'm holding on to the things I'm holding on to and how I can transform that in my artwork and in my life. So I did some spirals here, and that represents change for me. The rainbow I had to add in because it represents, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. And when I look at this piece, I just feel super hopeful and I feel free. So I hope you try this exercise at home.
What is art therapy? I like to use the analogy of like you're in a cave or you're in a dark place, and art making can help bring little bursts of light to keep you moving throughout your journey. My name is Edie Morris, and I'm the art therapist at Shirley Ryan Ability Lab. A day in the life of an art therapist here is different every day, which is what I love. I work on every floor of the hospital, and my day looks like a mix of working with patients. Sometimes it's that they're really shut down. They're not engaging in any of their other therapies, and they just want to see if art making is a way to kind of tap in and open them up. And other times it's because they've seen me in my cart in the hallway and they're like, ooh, what's that? That looks interesting. I'd like to participate. Art is magical. Oftentimes, a lot of our patients experience these extreme traumas, these huge changes in life, and a lot of times words are not enough to explain that.
This was a vulnerable time for me after my accident, and I was scared. I cried so many times. Art has given me the freedom to express how I feel. It allows you to be free, and there's no judgment because it's your work.
Art making helps you realize what you can still do and being able to express yourself. And although it might look a lot different than what you used to be able to do, it still is meaningful.
It helps you in so many different ways to get away from what you're going through. It takes your mind away. Relaxes and take the pain away. Art is helping you escape from it because you focused on something else.
A huge misconception in art therapy is that you have to be good at drawing. It's about the process. Art therapy is truly not about what you make. It is the experience of making something. It's accepting imperfections a lot of the time and reminding patients like nothing will be perfect and it is okay to make mistakes.
There's going to be a lot of challenges. You might have bad days, but you can always look back at your artwork and say, hey, like I did this and I can continue to do great work, whether it's physical work with your body or art.
When you realize what you can do in art making, it can build your resilience for other things, for daily living. Like, look at this thing I made that embodies all of my power and ability.